what I loved about that room was a room full of just small business owners, small mindset, you know, primarily women, which was really cool to see, women entrepreneurs and business owners that are looking to just really level up their business and really continue to grow. So it was fun being able to speak and being able to be there for her, and just listening to a couple of the things that sometimes we take for granted. And I know we're talking about people, kind of a people focus this month, yet not losing sight of really the bigger picture. And this really resonates with me right now more than anything, is we're not thinking big enough. And it's the Dan Sullivan quote: for our present to be better, our future has to be bigger. If we're not happy with anything in our current present situation, is because we've lost sight of the bigger picture. And even challenged Jana on stage to, that she's not thinking big enough, and she thinks big, like really big. And it's no different for myself. It's no different for all of you on the call, to making sure that, we are thinking big enough. We're thinking bigger than what we can even believe to be possible, because when we start thinking that way, we naturally start seeing things differently, and we start behaving differently to what are we doing to pursue that bigger future. So that was really just kind of an aha moment from the weekend, being able to be there with Jana at her event. So it was really cool. Hopefully we can get the content of that conversation. It was about 20-25 minutes long, be able to get it. And I'm sure the team will chop it up for podcast nuggets and things in there, but it was really good. So a little review on the homework that we talked about last week. And we really got around the whole concept of agreements versus expectations. And at Jana's event, her pastor was not able to be there. And Jana's organization's a faith-based organization, and they had her pastor was not able to be there. So he shot a video, and he's a younger guy and a lot of energy. And it was really great. And the video was awesome because it went right before I went, and he gave a lot of really great nuggets, and it was really powerful. And when I got on stage, we were talking about it a little bit, and I said, there's one thing that I would challenge him on. And even if he was here, I would challenge him on it. And he kept using the word. And I asked the audience, I said, how many of you guys have a lot of expectations in your business and in your life? And of course, everybody raised their hand. And I said, how many of you seem to be constantly frustrated within your business and your life? And almost all the hands stood up. And I said, it's because you're operating from an expectation and not through an agreement. And I mean, I've done this to you guys many a times. It's that, deer in the headlight look, because you start to process. And that's what happened. They really started to process. And I talked them through the whole concept of what we talked about last week with agreements versus expectations. And it was really powerful. So making sure that you're tweaking, you're iterating. And remember, as the season of our business, the season of our life, the agreements change. The measurement of success changes, because if you, and all of you are, because you're on this call, you're committed to continuous growth. You're committed to becoming the best version of yourself. So your definition of success, 24 months ago is not the same definition of success as it is today. And it's not even the same definition of success 12 months ago as it is today. And that's why we have to be able to really make sure that we know what we're measuring success, not only for ourselves, but for our people that are in our life and in our life team. And, it was one of the questions that I proposed to them, and we got into the whole life team concept, is that we're notorious for hosting events that you end up going back to your market, you end up going back to your business, and you end up letting somebody go, right? You end up firing somebody. And I said, well, that also works with the rest of your life. I mean, we're so quick to go back and fire somebody out of our business, yet we won't do the same thing for our life and protecting that energy that we have. And so when you look at, as leaders of our teams and even our life team and even being a micro team within a team, the real number one metric is the percentage of key seats on your bus that are filled with the right people for those seats. And I'll break down what defines a key seat. And then I want to share a couple little nuggets from Jim Collins' book, Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0. And if you don't have a copy of that book, it's a resource manual. It's a must. He wrote it at the end of 20, and it was just an updated version of the original book that came out in, I think, 92 or 93. And he just updated it all and where he was wrong and what needs to be changed. And so when we look at that and really what that means, the analogy that I always think about, and I've shared this story with you guys, I'm sure, a couple times, is that Jesse Etzler has this analogy that, the moment we're born, our bus, our bus starts rolling, and the bus is already loaded with people, right? Even when we're born, the bus is loaded with people. It's loaded with, parents, grandparents, relatives, cousins, other siblings, those that are kind of brought into our life, not by choice. And, the bus keeps rolling, right? The bus never stops until we stop. And people come and go throughout that whole journey. And really, when we get to the point to where we're able to drive our own bus, that to me, when I hear, as a leader, our metric then becomes, it's our responsibility to make sure that the percentage of key seats on the bus is filled with the right people for those seats. And that's why I really love the whole life team concept, because that encompasses the seats on the bus. And it's our responsibility, nobody else's responsibility. It's our responsibility to make sure that we have those seats filled. And what Collins talks about is he defines key seats that they meet any one of the following three conditions. Number one, person in that seat has the power to make significant people decisions. Somebody in that seat has the power to make significant people decisions. Number two condition is failure in that seat. Okay, remember, these are key seats, not all the seats, but these are key seats. Failure in that seat could expose the entire enterprise to significant risk or potential catastrophe. And number three condition is success in the seat would have a significantly outsized impact on the company's success. So let's think about that for a second, right? Not all seats are key. And when we look at the handful of key seats, somebody in there, they have the power to make people decisions. If they fail in that seat, they expose the entire bus. And success in that seat would significantly outsize the impact on the company's success. So when you start to look and you're like, shit, that's me. That's only me, right? I'm the only one that has that. And then you wonder why shit doesn't get done. You wonder why you're robbed of your happiness. You wonder why that you're exhausted. Is that you don't have enough who's around you to help accelerate the impact of your bus, right? We're not in the transaction business. We're in the transformation business. And we're in the business of impacting others and helping them transform not only their business, but transform their lives. That's the business we're in. We're in the people business. And so are you surrounding yourself with people in key seats that can help you make people decisions, that can help you, understand, hey, I mean, they're chinning some risk, right? If they don't excel, we expose the entire bus. or if they do excel, we have a significantly greater impact on what we're trying to do. So those are our key seats. And when you start to look at kind of the people that are on the bus, immediately sometimes we default to, man, we got to replace these people. And replace could also mean moving them to a different seat on the bus. It doesn't necessarily mean that we've got to kick them off the bus. It could mean that we're moving them to a different seat. And the question has to become, do we develop them or do we replace them?